Good afternoon, YouTube. Ian here from Coolice Charge Case and Power Supplies. Hope you're all safe and well and enjoying the beginning of the week, potentially, depending on where you are in the world. So I hope you have a good day. Anyway, just another quick video for now, because I do have a little queue, obviously, of videos to upload and just haven't. I'm working alone. I've got so many things going on, it can be difficult to sort it all out. But I've got another case video I do need to produce and obviously upload, which I will do, and this one then came back to be upgraded, admittedly. This one is Adam Edwards' case, and I already made a video of this, I think, which obviously I will try and post a link to in the descriptions perhaps, or you can find it through my videos. But basically, customer's very happy with it, but he wanted to make a couple of changes. The main one from my perspective was the wireless charger that I've mounted in the storage compartment lid. This was one of the early cases where I did that, so I used obviously a wire connection going from inside the case to the lid. So of course every time you open and close the lid, it fatigued the wire, and then over time it would break. We also then wanted to upgrade the wireless charger in that to a fast charger one. Again, I was learning the difference between obviously the cheaper options that were able to be taken apart and incorporated into a lid to be as flat as possible. So I found a fast charging one, and also then machined a new lid to sent that to Adam to effectively fit, which he didn't. But of course that came back to me at the same time as this upgrade process, so I could incorporate that for him, and I did. And by doing so then I removed the wire connection and went to the magnetic connections, which you've seen on another one of my videos, which is later this. The other main one, which I will show you now, was changing from the standard carbon fibre vinyl finish to a custom printed label done for Adam by Mad Panda Graphics, based in USA. So thank you for them, because obviously they sent it directly to me, and voila, we have a custom decal printed, laminated, obviously with the clear on top to make it obviously UV resistant, I think it does with the printed stuff, and also better wearing. And then of course then I've then fitted it on top of the polypropylene deck and made the various cutouts. Now obviously the logo, for the hardcore modelers of you, will recognise that is the Revo Electric logo, because this case obviously has two PL6, you know what, I can't remember if they're PL6s or PL8s off the top of my head, but anyway, there are two PL6s or PL8s controlled by the bump controller in the lid, which also received a custom printed graphic. Again, this is what Adam spec'd, and this is what he got, and it is absolutely stunning. I wouldn't like to say it was very easy to fit, admittedly. This was the first time I'd ever dealt with a printed graphic on one of my cases, and also because the material is laminated, and then obviously has a better adhesive, I think, on the back of it. It is a little bit of a thicker material, and it's not the air release type as well, like you get with the carbon. So you have, when you start to apply it, you're kind of committed. And also then, because it was going on the polypropylene, this was the first time I'd actually used, and I can grab the tin here, I'd actually used the 3M tape primer liquid that you can get, which is, yeah, it basically just helps activate the surface so it becomes more sticky, for want of a better word, for obviously the vinyl material you're going to stick on top of it. So it was obviously a good learning exercise for me, because I knew about that liquid but had never used it, so it was quite good. The bottom one, in the end, obviously I did apply that liquid obviously on the polypropylene deck, let it dry off for, it says at least 5 or 10 minutes. It does dry very quickly, and then of course then applied the graphic on top of it, and I did that dry on that one, and it did work. I did unfortunately get the odd little air bubble. Most of them I managed to get out. There was a couple of slightly bigger ones, but there is a couple of little ones there which aren't really seen by the naked eye, but someone like me that always strives for perfection, you always look for the imperfections, and so I do my hardest to get rid of those. The upper lid, though, on the other hand, I thought I would try something different, and because I had some offcuts then of this material, I decided then to try that with the wet soapy water method. So I tried it first on an offcut, applied it, squeegeed it flat, and sure enough, that was the way to do it. So I actually did the top panel wet with the soapy water technique, and that really did help, to be fair. Again, the polypropylene, I then obviously used the 3M primer on it first, let that flash off. Spray, obviously peeled the backing paper off the graphic, off the vinyl printed graphic, liberally sprayed the back of that with the soapy water, and then obviously laid that on top of the deck, which again allowed me, was actually handy for alignment purposes, because obviously the printer was just big enough to cover this case size. So there wasn't much, there was only no more than about 5mm overlap all round, so I had to be very accurate with my positioning to start with, or else it would potentially be skewed. And then of course then we would get, obviously if I weren't careful, then we'd get a white pieces, white flashings around the outside kind of thing. So I had to make sure it was aligned properly. But the lid obviously worked really well, and of course then this was again one of the first cases, if you like, that received the Revo Electrics backlit logo. I have got the lead here. I'll power it back up, and there we go. So that was one of the main things. Obviously the other one was the lid. Obviously again, same principle. It has got the slightly bigger hinges on this, but they do work well, so I stuck with those because we weren't replacing the entire deck. In the end, I did have to remachine a new door because the upgraded one that I did machine, realigning that back on my CNC to cut the new aperture on the back of it to suit the magnetic cutout, didn't work out very well. So for the cost of it, I just machined another one. So if I pop it, I can open it up, and you can see of course then how I've done it. So we've got 3D printed. I've moved to instead of double handing the decks now, I think, because obviously most of the machining is done from the back face, and then for the recesses, for example, for these hinges, I would then obviously then have to flip the deck over and machine these cutouts on from this top face. So of course then I'm mounting the deck twice on the CNC, which again adds cost, adds time, adds the potential for errors to creep in as well at the same time, which isn't what I want as a machinist. So when it came to machining the new lid, I then obviously just did the basic cutout to match obviously the hinge, and then 3D printed the mounts at the various correct height kind of thing to obviously put the hinge in the right position again for the door. And that's where I'm going to go, I think, from now on. And of course then, as I do this on any other cases, that would obviously allow me then to design in the various cutouts on the acrylic storage compartment panels to miss those at the same time. So that'd be great. Again, as you've seen in other videos, then we've got the magnetic connection going from obviously the main guts of the wireless charger that is mounted in the case to obviously here. And there's obviously, it's a 2-coil option, so there's one coil on one and the other coil is on the other. And of course then we've got, I almost refer to it almost as an elephant drinking water kind of thing, where before I had a 2-part system. Actually no, tell a lie, it was a 3-part. So I had that main part, the little interconnecting Y section if you like, and then the magnetic holder at the front. This is now all one piece going in, and it's worked quite well. I'm quite pleased with that. I had to change a couple of the depths of the machining from the machining side and the polypropylene, but this is now printed in one piece, which is nice because it keeps the wireless charging antenna, I call it an antenna, but it's not, but the wireless charging coils, and then its wires that are in here and its connections here as one module. So I can create that as one module, use some hot glue then to keep the wires in place, and then it just literally then I undo the bolts and it just literally slides in and out kind of thing without any fuss. So that obviously makes contact with the wireless charger, which is mounted around here. I haven't put any decal on top of it, but Adam will obviously put his phone on it, and then you just roughly where it is, so you just move it until it catches, and away you go. The other change we made on this, we fitted some Rgb W LEDs inside under the deck. These are the first time I've used this type of LED. So they have the usual red, green, blue LED, and then next to it they then have a pure white LED as well. So as you can see, it's currently set to pure white, which is quite nice. So you can also have the range of multiple colours in the RGB spectrum, and then obviously pure white, and they do warm white and cool white, I think, off the top of my head as well. they give you a remote, but the controller on this is a Wi-Fi one as well. So you can actually access more of the colours choice, if you like, via the app on your phone, either Android or iOS. Obviously I'm Android, but I think Adam is iOS from memory. So you can have a play with that. Everything else is the same. We've got the radial cooling fans as normal, and this was obviously my going back to my first kind of designs, where I would obviously trim, spray paint, and then mount a piece of stainless steel mesh in there, which does look good. But now, of course, as you've seen in my later videos, I've gone to obviously cutting the air slots in there, which I think perhaps is a little bit better, or from my perspective it definitely takes away a little bit of labour time, which is good. Obviously, yeah, cable chain again as normal on this one, taking the cables into the lid. Bump controller is essentially hidden. Differences on the lid from when I first did this design. Obviously I've got 4 standoffs, one effectively in each corner of the case. And the original nano cases, which are these ones, I know the later ones now do appear to have mounting holes around the outside bezel, which is handy, but I've not experienced one of those yet. But the original nano cases obviously have mouldings for you to screw into, if you like, in those 4 points. And they work, but I was then having to be a bit clever with the 3D printed parts to allow me to put a screw down through the middle to bolt the hole, to bolt the spacer into the lid, and then of course then I would then fit another one of my M5 brass inserts into the front of it to use an M5 bolt then to secure the deck into the lid. Because this plate I used was a 10mm, I normally don't now, I normally go to a 5mm to obviously save weight and cost. It allowed me then to drill the existing holes out that I had in there from, I think it was about 5.1mm diameter to 7mm diameter, insert one of my usual M5 inserts, which I did. I then 3D printed some little round bungs, caps if you want to call it that, tapped them into the hole to make it blind on the back, sanded it to make sure there was no high spots kind of thing, and then that effectively then hid the screws now from this side of the lid, which is quite nice. Effectively though, it then did give me now screw heads on the back of the lid, but using using 4 M5 mushroom head or button head screws, it's quite nice and neat, and they're silver as well, so it matches in and keeps in with the look of the case, I think. So from my perspective, that's a win. I'd rather have a little bit of a screw head shown on the outside of the case to get the clean look on the inside, and we've achieved that, so I'm very, very pleased. And that's about it. What else? Oh yeah, well, we've got the connectors on the side as normal. You will perhaps see on the video at the end of this where I attach some photographs kind of thing. These were another set of Rgb Electrics chargers where the 4mm bullets were starting to lose their efficiency and start to get hot, so that there was actually a little bit of a solder blob on it, where obviously it had got hot in use and was obviously starting to melt the solder. So at the same time I did my usual trick of replacing the 4mm banana sockets with XT90 panel mounted sockets on the chargers, and then at the same time then we did that then to the charging outputs, because originally this one had the same 4mm banana jack sockets for the MPA boards. So I've changed that. Adam also had obviously covers for these. They were printed before, and I've done some more now obviously to suit the new style, but I need to glue the magnets in the back of it, so they will go on there, and essentially then the magnets then will magnetize to the head of the bolts and keep those in place. I've also incorporated now with these a little bungee cord hole, admittedly, yeah, because I've got bungee cord to do this to another customer's case, and I've incorporated that in with Adam's in case he wants to go down that route in time. We then put a loop of bungee cord in there, and then obviously we can affix it to the case, so it's basically a safety wire, so if they get knocked off they're just going to be dangling off the wire kind of thing rather than lost in the wind. The other side is also the same, so we've got channel 2 out on the right hand side, channel 1 on the other side, so it's exactly the same on the opposite side. The other thing requested to be added, because obviously he's got one of my small PSU-less cases that he uses, so he needs to provide it with 25 volts, was an XT90 output from the 25 volts. So again, I've done a little connector cover for that, And again, that needs magnets going in it as well, because that will then obviously just go, that'll just magnetize and hold itself on for me. At the moment it just, it'll just plop off. So that's good. Yeah, and I think that's about it. We didn't really make any other change to that. It wasn't a small upgrade, to be fair. It was very time consuming, obviously, with the additional wiring, and of course then the fitting and the trimming of the vinyl, obviously the changes to the lid. But the customer is very happy with these chargers. He likes them. Oh, it is, that's answered the question. It is PL6s. The customer is very happy with this case, so he wanted to stick with it, and he wanted to give it a nice new look, and I think he's going to be very happy when he comes to pick it up in the next 20 minutes. I think I wanted to take this quick video before it disappeared. But anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me ramble on again as normal. I was going to try and make it short, but this is now another 15, nearly 16-minute video. Stay safe. Please like, share, subscribe to me, and for all your charge case needs and power supply needs, you know where I am. Ian at Coolice.co.uk. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.